Hello, my name is Fernanda Aquino, and today I'll be making my oral presentation on Thomas de Quincey. He was an English writer from the 1800s. His best work would be The Confessions of an English Opium Eater. Thomas de Quincey used a lot of his own trauma and experiences to write. He used his own experiences in his own work, which is what kind of made him stand out during this era. He always used his trauma, his own core variables, to make those experiences relatable to him and his readers, which is why he made such a big impact back in that time. So Thomas de Quincey was born in Manchester in 1785. He was actually a very troubled child growing up. He lived a lot of his life being sick, and he experienced a lot. He had to go through a lot, even as a child and still as an adult. He actually lost a few relatives as well. He lost his father, he lost his two sisters, but that actually impacted him into making good writing, actually. Throughout the years, he did attend many schools, but he never really stuck through them. During the era of Romanticism, he was able to publish really good writings as well, but his best work would be The Confessions of an Opium Eater. In Confessions of an Opium Eater, he does talk about how he was addicted to opium, and his addiction actually started when he was really young, and it just went on throughout his whole life. He had to deal with how society would treat him, with the side effects of the addiction. He just had to deal with the whole opium addiction experience, and he wrote about it in his book. He wrote about it in 2 volumes. One would be where he talks about the effects of being addicted to opium, and the second he talks about his life and how his addiction affected his life. During this time, it was a very impactful book because no one had talked about addiction. So yeah, that is Thomas de Quincey. So he used a lot of himself into his writing, which, like I said, is why he stood out so much during this period of time. And then when the Romanticism era began, he was actually able to put even more feelings into his writing, which is when I feel like he kind of expanded more and became more of a bigger thing in the English era. And yeah, that is my presentation on Thomas de Quincey. He was a very great writer, and he opened up a lot of doors to many other writers, I feel. Like with his Confessions of an Opium Eater, he opened the doors to more writing based on trauma or feelings or own life experiences. Like how I said, he talked about his life as being an addict, and how society treated him, and how society views people that are addicts. And he took all that, put it into this book, and it made him really stand out. Yeah, thank you for listening to my presentation.